Hi everyone, Lorenzo here, episode 11 of Galileo Contracting. I'm really hammering them out today, but that's what you get when you submit lots of vessels. I shoot back lots of videos, time permitting, of course. What we're going to do today, we have the following situation. We have a lot of science previously. We have, look here, unlocked more antennae. That was a problem in the last episode. And we should also upgrade the VAB for some action groups, but oh shit, we don't really have the money available for that, so that's not possible yet. Now the vessel I've got left is a manned explorer with science payloads. I'm not going to send them to the outer planets because it's not quite versatile enough for that, or the inner planets. But what I want to do is send it to Iota once more and collect a whole bunch of science so we can get more stuff available. We do have a mission for a flag planting on Iota. I don't want to do that. Oh, look at that. We got the Explore Thalia mission after breaching its sphere of influence as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and accept that. You can chalk that up to the goals for your design. Yeah, this is the orbit Thalia and gather science from Thalia, but of course we were going to get more after that. So this one is now accepted. Thalia is our target for the explorations. But today we're going to go to Iota. Do I want to put a flag on it? Let's have a quick look and see if the vessel we are going to launch is actually flag capable. It has got landing legs, but then again, this is a fairly tiny fuel tank for a landing, takeoff and return. And additionally, those sort of missions take a bit longer. I'm just going to go for an polar orbit with a lot of science return. So that means we're gonna get a scientist. Let's put Bobbert Galen on there and shoot him off into space in the general direction of Iota. Yeah, I think that constitutes all the pre-flight checks. Wait, I might not. There might have been a cool description here. So let's revert back to the assembly building and check that out. You guys sometimes hide cool stuff here. Better balance and auto straights enabled. So that's not the most amazing description, but you know, we know it's better balance. That's good. There was a product recall before, and fortunately no injuries were incurred with the pre-recall vessel. I think, was the science? Yeah, the science bound to the brake key. That's good. Obviously all the launchpad science has been performed. Let's fire it up. SAS enabled. It's good that it's on the vessel because Bobbert hasn't got a clue. Here we go. Liftoff. We have 7 engines blasting off this rocket. It looks fairly straightforward. Fuel, fuel, fuel. Engines separate. Fuel, fuel. Engines separate. Fuel, science, engines. Bobbert. Yeah. What could go wrong? I'm just going to rotate this craft so that the nav ball is in my usual orientation. Oh, look at that. That's fairly ingenious. I think there's different kinds of engines on here. There's the Reliant here and the Swivel there. I like that. There's like 4 of the big ones and 2 of the gimbal ones for steering. That's neat. Well done. Nice design there. Let's see, how is this going? We're just about to breach the cloud layer. It's never been an important milestone for rocketry, but you know, we are doing that anyway. Hey, this is interesting. Why do these fuel tanks drain bottom up? Did that change, or is this some weirdness? As far as I remember, fuel generally drains top down, but not today. Okay, that's curious. Is that something you can set now? I'm trying to turn the rocket over, but that's proving to be really difficult. Those 2 gimbalable engines really have a hard time of it. Maybe I shouldn't have rotated the rocket. Did that mess something up? I'm giving it full steering input, possibly because the fuel is still at the top rather than at the bottom. That's making that hard. That's really interesting. I didn't think that was possible in the game. Alright, it turns out we're going to do a very lofted trajectory. Our apoapsis is almost outside of the atmosphere yet, and we're just starting to turn over now. I suppose maybe it doesn't increase stability, but then again it does reduce maneuverability, and it would involve a frightful amount of plumbing, I suppose. Wait. Alright, now we're actually out of fuel. First stage is exhausted, so we fire up the second stage. What a traditional rocket distribution again. The first stage boosts us the first part of the way, and then the second stage is going to put us into orbit. Now, last episode I was moaning about this engine being fairly heavy. That does make a bit more sense when there's a lot more fuel to loft around, to carry around. So then the increased efficiency might make up for the increased weight. But I'm going to have a look at that efficiency because this one's at 350 specific impulse. And look at that, this one is draining interestingly as well. They're draining simultaneously. How the hell does that work nowadays? I have no idea. After all, I'm going to try and put some time warp on here because the thrust of this engine is fairly low relative to the weight of the vessel. The time warp is causing some pogoing of the rocket up and down. Now, pogo oscillation is something else entirely. I meant the bouncing of the attitude. It appears we are in orbit, so let's get rid of that time warp and try to plot ourselves an intercept with Iota, which of course is fairly close by. And looking at these inclinations, it should be possible to catch it right around its ascending node, which would eliminate the need to fix that inclination. Or maybe not. Maybe we do have to fix the inclination. Let us see. We'll try and do that in 2 goes again. I would like to have like the encounter in 1 burn. That would be good. That means we are going to have to put the maneuver node straight at the ascending node. Oh yeah, it's like 8 degrees. That's a lot. I know this is, again, not the most efficient way to do things, but it is the easiest, and of course that counts for something as well. Unless, of course, we can't do it, because, yeah, we are going to go for the efficiency challenge. We're going to guess that we're going to meet up with Iota over there somewhere. So we're going to do a nice halfway burn, like here, and then change our attitude. Change our inclination on the way there. So we're going to do 1 extra orbit, and then we'll see about intercepting Iota. So I'm too lazy to even wait for a few seconds. Alright, our burn is going to take 55 seconds, and I'm going to nicely straddle that. Our second stage still has a lot of life left in it, which is good because I kind of want to establish a polar Iota orbit and do quite a few laps so we can grab all the science from several different biomes. Just redid the science experiments around Gale. Of course, we already had them, which is no surprise whatsoever, but hey, there was some time during the first burn on our way to Iota, so why not do that, I thought. Cool. Let's see, 200 meters per second remaining. This rocket it's got lights. Let's turn them on. Has it got solar panels though? Yeah, it does have solar panels, but not a lot of them. Also, the monopropellant ran out, or that was probably prudently removed because we don't have any RCS thrusters. Nice one there. We don't have the hugest batteries, so transmitting back might be a problem. Right, so now we have a slightly higher orbit. Let us plan a maneuver node so as to fix our inclination relative to Iota. Only 64 meters per second. That's not a lot. That's nice. Nice and friendly maneuver. We can do that in 1.5 hours. So let's warp there. We do have signal connection to Gale. Of course, we don't strictly need it because we have a pilot on board. Wait, do we have a pilot on board? Yes, we do. I got scared for a second because he wasn't visible, but of course it's the map view, and that doesn't necessarily have a not necessarily, it just definitely doesn't have a pilot view. Alright, now we have the correct inclination, half a degree off. That's close enough. And now we're going to try and actually encounter this planet. Yeah, here's where we see that making an elliptical orbit before actually doing the encounter is not maximally efficient, but also it's not horrible. Look, there we go. We can make our encounter happen just the way we want to. Here we go. We've got a low periapsis. That's nice. And when we actually get into the sphere of influence of Iota, we will swivel that to a polar orbit. That should be not too difficult. All right, 3.5 hours to go, and then we can do this insertion burn. Usually what I do in the more edited videos is skip over this bit, but since this is a small solar system and Iota is fairly straightforward to get to, but does include a plane shift, I thought maybe it would be nice to include a full navigation sequence showing my reasoning how to get there. Although I do have a sneaking suspicion that my viewership is a die-hard core of long-time KSP players, so this may be the easiest, most straightforward stuff in the world to you guys, in which case maybe it's a little bit boring. Anyhow, lighting the rocket engine. The beauty of this format, where I just turn on the game, turn on my microphone and recording software and yammer off while I play the game, is that it takes a minimum amount of extra time rather than over than just playing the game to actually make the videos. It takes about... Oh shit, turn off the engine, stop, stop. Oh, I was hitting the wrong key because I was talking. Oh crap. That's 70 meters per second wasted. Let's break that. What I was saying is that it takes a minimum amount of time over actually playing the game to make the videos. It takes about 15 minutes for the recording software to lock down the frame rate so that there's no desync, and then it's about another half hour to do the render in my rendering software. And then it's uploading and processing by YouTube. So that's a fair amount of time, but that's not time I need to be spending at the computer. Contrast that to the KSP Next videos, which is usually several hours of gameplay to get the designs and the things right, and then another bunch of time editing, selecting footage and compiling it into a nice condensed video, and then doing a voiceover after the fact. That takes a lot more time, which makes that makes that more time intensive and less easy to do in between stuff. So that's that. We are now at Iota. And now we have here a trajectory that is all set to become a normal, somewhat equatorial orbit. So what I'm going to try is do a maneuver to turn that into a nice polar or polar-ish orbit. 34 kilometers altitude seems reasonable, and it's taking 200 meters per second. Now, of course, that could have been a lot less if I had tweaked my insertion all the way at Gale, which is possible to do. It just needs a little bit more foresight with launching into the correct inclination and waiting until the launch site passes under that inclination and stuff. This is essential in real solar system. That could have been done from the get-go, but I didn't, so we're doing it after the fact, as I think is the more Kerbal way to do it. Cool. Periapsis is now 51. That's also fine. Let's make it a little bit lower. Oh, I can't by burning. Yeah, let's try a run of science. Materials study. Yeah, we want to transmit that, and then later we want to record it. This one we don't care about. Same for the mystery goo. Go transmit. Transmit. Oh, have we got 2 mystery goos? Materials study. Transmit that as well. Did we just have 2? No, we don't have 2. Did we exhaust all the electric charge? Yes, we did. Oh, that might be a problem. Let's see, review data. So what did we actually transmit now then? Can I say that they can do partial transmissions, that's okay? Oh god. Anyway, we're gonna keep this one. And I still want to transmit this one. I might have to wait. Let's use some time warp to refill those batteries pronto. Oh, that's going to be a little bit annoying to get them Also, a challenge could be that this thing doesn't seem to have a heat shield. Right. So we might need to save a lot of fuel to do a very soft entry. Cool, that's good to know. We have our data here, let's keep that. And we'll have our scientist go on the first EVA to you know, actually go and fix these containers. Restore, restore. And observe, and keep, and observe, and keep, collect, collect, and restore, and restore. And we're going to do that a bunch more times. Wait, what's this? Lights on. Yes, please. Alright, that was that for high in space. Let's just warp straight to the periapsis. Let the game handle that for us, so we can gaze at Iota whilst it approaches. Cool. We are right at our periapsis. We're gonna shut down time warp and perform a retrograde burn to put us in a nice orbit covering the poles of Iota. And now I have no idea about the rotation of Iota. It might take months and months for the planet to rotate under us, which would be a problem. Let's see, we are currently in Iotan orbit. Now I'm watching the telemetry here to make sure I'm not accidentally putting us on a crash course, which would be, you know, unfortunate. Let's see, 50 by 40 by 56, why not? Let's do another round of science. Material study, space high over Iota, that's the same. Oh, 52 kilometers still counts as high then, does it? In that case, we need to go lower. 20. Alright, let's time warp to that 20. Midlands. Oh, of course I need to do my science over... No, this is still high. I need to get close so I can get the different biomes. Alright, that's going to get slightly exciting. We're going to try and go down to 22 kilometers. That's going to make time warping a pain. We might not do a full complete sweep of the planet because that's just going to be horrible. Alright, let's compare the altitude readings above the terrain and above the datum. See if there's any huge mountains. That could really ruin our day, you know? Alright, 24. We're just about at our lowest point. Let's try and see if this already counts as space low. Space near Iota. Yes, it does. Alright, that's gonna warrant one report. Pressure scan. That's near. That's not biome specific. We grab that. We recycle that. And we already have grabbed that. Can we... How are we getting two material studies? It's maybe present twice in the thing. Anyway, we are doing our EVAs. Because this one does. That does make the follow-up science procedures a little bit easier because we're just finished with these, like the goo canisters and the material base now, because we're not actually going to land on the thing. So we do need to do our burn to actually stay this low. We got an EVA report above the droops, whatever that is, and we're gonna get a whole bunch more. Periapsis height is now minus 10 meters. That is a crash course. We don't want that. I forgot for a second we are around a very low body. So now our orbit is 24 by 18 kilometers. That definitely counts as dangerous. And we're above the highlands now, so let's take another EVA report. Highlands, apparently we already had that. Cool. Let's try it. Midlands, Highlands, Midlands. Oh god. Alright, too much time warp is skids. That's new. Too much time warp is hard to get right with these biomes. Boom. Anyway, this is still a cool 24 science per thing. And yes, I'm aware that we can transmit these things, but our electric reserves are limited, so I'm not going to transmit them every time because that will just get annoying really fast. Trying to find something else other than the Midlands. Apparently there's a lot of highlands and not that many midlands. Lowlands. Midlands. Yeah, finally. Cool. Get it. Highlands again. God damn it. That really takes half a second and then it switches. Can we do something cool with like CurbNet or something? If you're hearing a chime, that's my laundry machine telling me it's done, which is great because I'm having a bit of a spring cleaning Sunday. Alright, let's try and get lowlands again. Boom, got it. Now what's next? Droops? I think we had droops, yeah? But let's try it anyway. What are droops? Droops are like mounds of fluid that dripped off something. Maybe that's what it looks like. To Bobbert. Oh, Bobbert. Highlands, Midlands. We've got both of them now. Skids. Yeah, that sounds really familiar. Highlands, Midlands, Skids, Droops. Let's see. Does Iota like rotate appreciably? Not really, does it? We might have to take matters into our own hands and alter this trajectory a little bit. Let's do that. So we're gonna burn not radially, we're gonna burn actually to change our orbital plane so that we are gonna go across several other biomes. Oh, whoops! We're gonna go lower, sure. 20 by 13. Let's do that. And oh, that rotation was arrested fairly rapidly. Midlands, lowlands, droops. Come on, there's more biomes surely that we can do EVA reports over. Midlands, highlands, midlands, highlands is getting really boring. Before long, I'm gonna go just home. We got a good payload of science. Yeah, I'm calling it. There's not a lot more biomes on this world. Midlands, highlands, and droops. The other ones are really hidden and therefore automatically very difficult to spot from orbit as well. Cool, so we are leaving this planet, and to do that we're basically going to have to burn perpendicular to our orbit, which is fine. Oh wait, this is way too fast. We don't want to escape the whole system. Alright, this is a very, very weird burn. Let's not do it that way. I want to escape the thing, so I need to go that way. That makes sense, right? Yeah, and now we want to go more that way, and there we have our great entry trajectory. That makes a lot more sense. Cool. 400 meters per second to leave. That's not too hefty. Actually, we have a whole fresh stage. We probably have more than 2 kilometers per second in reserve. That's what you get for not taking a lander down to land. 36 minutes to that burn point, and we can't warp really fast because we are actually really close to this small moon. That always complicates things a little bit, where you get so close that you can't do fast time warps and then you're stuck waiting. Can we go faster? We can go faster now. Yeah. And then we have, because we don't, I forgot how to talk. I was worried about our heat shield. We have the integrated heat shield of the pod, but that might not necessarily suffice for a full speed entry that's from anywhere higher than low orbit. Now, Iota is not very far, celestially speaking, but an entry from this altitude and speed is going to be a lot rougher than an entry from low orbit. So I think we did well to save the stage and do, well, not do the landing, save a lot of fuel, and you know, do a soft landing. Alright, this is a fairly frightening proposition because we are actually on a position to crash into the planet, but that at least means we are going home, right? There's no question of skipping off into space and just vanishing forever, which should be reassuring. I should shut this off. I want to just warp straight over these sphere of influence transitions. There we go. Now we're gonna burn radially, slightly, just to get our periapsis out of the atmosphere. You know, that's a little bit more comfortable. That's making it worse. Means we have to turn around and go the other way. Yeah, we are actually approaching the planet. It's always a bit of a bummer if you accidentally put your ejection burn so that you're first going to an apoapsis 2 weeks away and then going to the planet. But everything is fine. Cool, 60 kilometers of altitude. Let's warp right here. And I did forget to actually send the science transmissions. Let's do that now anyway. Review our stored data. We can transmit this one, and we're going to transmit them one by one. This one obviously we're going to save and not transmit at all. This one we're going to transmit. Actually, we have less science than I thought we would get. A little bit disappointed. But still, we got, I think, a good 100 or something science. And, of course, experience for our brave crewman, Bobbert. Alright, we have just a drip of fuel remaining in this stage, which we are in a periapsis that will have it tumbling to Earth. So I'm just going to burn us a little bit closer. Oh, that actually makes our periapsis really Earth intersecty, but that's all right because, you know, we're gonna be braking, and this way, oops, stop that. This way we don't actually litter in space. Not that that really matters. All right, we're going to go for a fairly aggressive entry. We are go for a ground intersecting approach, which is of course fairly aggressive. We're 2.5 kilometers per second. So when we're at, let's say, 180 kilometers, I am just going to burn this engine. So we have a full fuel tank, and it's a fairly wimpy engine that's on here. So we might need some time to get through all that fuel. Actually, we need a lot more time than this to get through all this fuel. So we'll probably be attached to this engine while it's firing through the atmosphere. That's actually going to be a fairly interesting ride. But now that we're at this point, I really don't dare disconnect the stage and go for a heat shield only entry with just the stock pod heat shield at 60 ablator units, because this is going to be a toasty re-entry if we don't slow down by ourselves. This might go wrong actually. We are not slowing down near as fast as I thought we would be. I was actually anticipating the bigger engine on here, but we've got the Spark liquid fuel engine, which is really light. It has very low thrust and actually not that great efficiency. So I much prefer the LV505, I think it is. Bit heavier, but a lot more efficient. And I think you get the same delta V or even more out of this configuration with that engine, and more thrust to boot. So yeah, let's see what's going to happen. We are decelerating, but not very fast. We're barely winning from gravity. Let's see actually where the KSC is, because I think we're landing fairly close to home. Yeah, that's actually not necessarily a KSC. What's our connection point? Space Center. Yeah, that's right over there. So if we do make it down, we're pretty good. And if we're gonna, we just entered Atmo. If the engine's gonna survive, we might bring the whole stage down, which of course will give us more recovered funds. Not the most important metric right here, but you know, fun. 2600 meters per second. We are getting into the heavier bits of the atmosphere where things get scorchy. Obviously, we can't do our parachute. I'm hoping that if things start exploding, at least the capsule will survive. I think the landing legs and the lights might not survive. We are 40 kilometers. We're decelerating fast now, but not really thanks to the engine. That was something. That was something again. There's some bars glowing red. The engine itself is still good. Oh god, no, no, the engine itself is not good. We need to... Oh, the decoupler is overheating a lot. We are experiencing a tremendous amount of G-forces. I don't dare disconnect the decoupler. It is what it is. If I disconnect it now, it might explode in our face. Bobbert. Ooh, we've got a bar that will signify his loss of consciousness meter, which didn't go above a third. Bobbert is a trooper. He pulled like 10 Gs and survived. Also, the pod is a trooper, although maybe it cheated a little bit by having this decoupler, which I think, objectively speaking, should have made things worse, not better. But as I said, it is what it is. And actually, there was a heat shield. This is a separate heat shield from the pod. I was thrown off because I thought I was looking for the thicker decoupler, but it wasn't there with the shroud. Oh, I done goofed up. I could have just plunged the pod in without any issues. Oh well, this went well also. I think everyone will agree. Let's throw out the parachute before we actually crash because I'm talking. Bobbert, you're a trooper. You're a true scientist. What does this do? Interior overlay. What does that do? Oh, we can see where he is. That's cute. Ha! That's actually really cool. Bobbert. Well done. I'm just waiting for the parachute to deploy so I can release the heat shield, which is fairly heavy actually and does make about a meter per second difference on the descent speed. I think it's a meter per second. Let's see what that actually ends up being. So we're going at 6 point something just under canopy, like 6.5. So let's decouple this one. And now, yeah, half a meter per second, maybe. It's fluctuating a bit. So not quite a meter per second, but it might just be the difference between a nice soft touchdown and a less soft one. We're landing right near the beach. Bobbert requested that. He wants to go for a little swim after coming back from space. Who can blame the man? Here he is, the absolute trooper, recovering the vessel. We should get... Oh, well, we didn't actually get the second stage, the lander, final stage. We didn't get that. But we got the pod and the data. 200 science, nothing to scoff at. And a star for Bobbert. Now, what do we want to do with this science? We already have unlocked some better antennae, that's good. Do we want electronics? We can't afford it anyway. Do we want this? No. No. Do we want the smaller engines? I don't think we need them as much. Nuclear propulsion, nice, but can't really afford that. Specialized construction, more stuff for you guys to play with. Docking ports could be fun. Especially if we're going to explore Thalia. Supersonic flight, advanced aerodynamics, this is always good to play with, but then again, I don't really trust you guys with wings. If you stick them on probes, come on. Bigger heat shield, landing struts. Might actually get this one. The big landing struts are nice. And control stuff. I'm gonna get this one, the landing struts. I hope you're happy with that. There we go, researching it. Cool, so that's the last episode of today, and also the last craft you sent me. So send me more craft, obviously, for the missions, a high G adventure. I think this will be fun. Exploring Thalia, and 2 tourists. Where do they want to go? Set, I know, we're not going to do that. Yeah, I think that's it. We're gonna go to Thalia and we're gonna do tourist. No, we're gonna make tourists pass out. Cool. Once more, thanks for watching. See you later. Goodbye.